Hello, everyone. William Armstrong here with Flashback Friday edition. Friday night at 5:46 p.m. I'm watching Arthur on PBS Kids Channel 8 through the Spectrum TV app as a flashback in 1996 when Arthur, the TV show made by Mark Brown, used watercolor artwork back in the 90s. Now, newer episodes of Arthur use Adobe Flash animation than the watercolored, drawn by hand, animated by hand, computer graphic style. Now it's all computers for the Arthur TV series, but in the 90s it was watercolor, artwork, hand drawn, animated. Let's start This is My Sims, a game that was released by EA Electronic Arts in 2007-2008, a spin-off from The Sims. And then we're going to focus on here. This game is fun. It is sold on Origin. But warning! My Sims uses Securom digital rights management. It uses Securom DRM that is controversial, and it's known to cause lockouts when the game's activation limit is exceeded too many times. I called EA customer support today to raise the activation machine limit on their end because the game uses an active internet connection to authenticate and activate. Therefore, using Securom DRM with Windows 10 it's incompatible. EA got their butt sued off for using Securom in a PC game called Spore and a few other games. So instead, I will automatically show you what Securom is and the controversy that EA got themselves into. Let me hop to display capture. Let me just port that up. Port up that display capture overlay. Drag it up above, and I will show you. Then we'll get back to My Sims. You'll see what I'm talking about EA. Securom was a DRM CD DVD copy protection and it is also used for digital rights management DRM product developed by Sony DADC. Sony DADC Sony stands for Digital Audio Disc Corporation, is a manufacturer of CDs, DVDs, UMDs, and Blu-ray discs. They basically are a disc manufacturer. The plant was initially a subsidiary of CBS Sony Group, but Sony bought out CBS's stake in October 1985. Basically, it was a manufacturer CD plant in Pittman in 1988, Manaus in 1992, and Toronto, Mexico City in 1994. They had a plant in Indiana, Canada, and Mexico City, Austria, Mumbai, and Manaus, Brazil. They also had a plant in Pittman, New Jersey. They were CD manufacturing DVD plants. And laser discs were also produced by Sony Digital Audio Disc Corporation. And Sony DADC is the manufacturer of all CDs sold in the U.S. But on August 2011, August 8th, Sony, a DADC distribution center in Enfield, was destroyed during the 2011 England riots. The warehouse was used by independent music distributor PIAS Entertainment Group to distribute CDs, LPs, and DVDs for over 100 European independent labels. The total stock loss in the fire was reported between 3.5 million and 25 million units. On January 17th, 2018, the DADC plant in Terre Haute, Indiana, announced that they would be laying off 375 employees and shifting manufacturers of audio discs to another manufacturer, Sonopress. It was later determined that the manufacture of most of audio discs would be facilitated by CDA Inc. The majority of audio discs manufactured for Universal Music Group and U.S. Sony Music Entertainment U.S. are presently manufactured by CDA Inc., while the discs are packaged and assembled in a jewel case in the USA. Technicolor sometimes also assists in the facilitation of disc manufacture for Universal Music Group U.S. These are all the different DADC plants that are either shut down or still in manufacturing, still operational. These are all the different manufacturing codes for the different discs that identify. PlayStation 3 is BPSS, BPDL is PlayStation 3 Blu-ray disc dual layer titles, B4SS is PlayStation 4 Blu-ray disc single layer titles, B4DL is PlayStation 4 Blu-ray disc dual layer titles, PTRM is PlayStation 2 CD-ROM, PDSS is PS2 DVD-ROM titles, PSRM is PlayStation titles, DVD-ROM is DRSS, dual-layer hybrid Blu-ray discs is BDHL, BHSS, single-layer hybrid Blu-ray discs, dual-layer Blu-ray discs is BVDL, BVSS is single-layer Blu-ray discs, DVDL is dual-layer, DVSS is single-layer. All the different disc codes that are used to identify the discs, like different codes in them. The discs are actually printed on the discs or packaging of the manufactured CDs themselves, indicating master copies and matrix numbers of discs. The codes begin with the 4-letter prefix followed by a series of digits. Common prefixes include the following. So that's that. Apparently, Watt Web of Trust rates Sony DADC as suspicious. That with the yellow orange dot with the yellow Watt donut symbol. I'm using Watt Web of Trust, and I will show you what that is. Watt Web of Trust is a browser plugin that warns you of potential dangers in sites. It automatically displays suspicious for orange, red for dangerous, and green is for safe. People are reporting that SecuROM is a rootkit that hides itself in a person's system. We will go to About Watt. Watt is a browser plugin that launched in 2006. It first launched in its early days in 2006. And the older Watt used to use a warning screen that would display a red tinted warning screen with a donut next to it indicating warning. I will show you what a Watt warning screen looks like. This is the older screen, the old Watt warning. It has warning in bold. It's got the red dots indicating the site's harmful. This is the old screen from early 2008 that it would just tell you, warning, don't go there. This is another design that looks like this. It has a drop-down tab with all the red O's. These O's indicate the site's harmful. It's red, meaning you shouldn't be visiting it. This is another example. These are the different revisions of the Watt plugin. Now this is the one with the tinted screen that has the red O. That indicates a site can harm your computer. That can be very, very harmful to you. And that's what it looks like. It shows warning. So in your browser, you would see a donut O that would turn red, yellow, or green. 3 different colors indicating the site's harmful, that it is potentially malicious. So that's basically what the Watt warning extension is. This is another Watt warning screen that shows the red O with the word warning in bold over it. It just shows the site's harmful to you. It can hurt your computer. It can have viruses or malware or cause data problems like that. That's basically what the Watt warning extension is. It's designed to tell you you're visiting a bad website to get away from it. You can get. That's what the Watt warning symbol does. The Watt warning browser add-on. Now back to the whole SecuROM bullcrap backfire. SecuROM limits the number of PCs activated at the same time from the same key and is not uninstalled upon the removal of the game. SecuROM 7.0 and later was the first version to include a SecuROM removal tool, which is intended to help users remove SecuROM after the software with which it has been installed has been removed. Most titles now also include a revoke tool to deactivate the license. Revoking all licenses would restore the original activation limit. As with Windows activation, a hardware change may appear as a change of computer and force another activation of the software, which means it can unintentionally consume an activation slot limit, meaning it can consume an activation slot on the server side. It can unintentionally use up a slot. Reformatting the computer may not consume an activation if the product activation servers are successfully detected as a reinstallation of the same set of hardware. The activation limit may be increased on a case-by-case basis. If the user is shown to have reached this limit due to several hardware-triggered reactivations on the same PC. Known problems. Securom may not detect the original game disks in the disk drive. This can occur in virtually any configuration. Reinserting the disk or rebooting the computer usually resolves the problem. Under Windows Vista, Securom will prevent a game from running if an explicit congestion notification is enabled in Vista's networking configuration. Software that can be used to bypass copy protection, such as disk drive emulators and debugging software, will block the launch of the game and generate a security module error. Disabling such software usually fixes the issue, but in some cases, uninstallation is required. Securom conflicts with other software, the best known being System Terminal's Process Explorer prior to version 11. Use of Process Explorer before an attempt to run the protected software will produce an error caused by a driver that was kept in memory after Process Explorer was closed. This is solved by either ensuring the Process Explorer is not running in the background when the game is launched or updating Process Explorer. Securom has a hardware-level incompatibility with certain brands of optical drives. Workarounds exist. These are the titles known to be laced with the toxic Securom. It's caused controversy, caused backlash. Purchasers of Bioshock were required to activate the game online, and users who exceeded the permitted 2 activations would have to call to get their limit raised up. The limit was raised to 5 activations because of an incorrect phone number had been printed on the manual, and because there were no call centers outside of the U.S., separate activations were required for each user on the same machine. 2K Games removed the activation limit in 2008, although online activation was still required. The game is now available completely DRM-free. Mass Effect was also affected. EA announced in May 2008 that Mass Effect the PC would use Securom 7.0 and above, and require that the software be reactivated every 10 days at a time. Customer complaints led EA to remove the 10-day activation, but Securom remained tied to the installation of its product activation facility used to impose a limit of 3 activations. A call to customer support is required to reset the activation limit. Unlike Bioshock, uninstalling the game does not refund a previously used activation, meaning that the previously used activation would still stay locked. A deauthorization tool was released for the main game, but EA's customer support must still be contacted to deactivate the downloadable expansions. Product activation is a license validation procedure required by some proprietary computer software programs. Product activation prevents unlimited free use of copied or replicated software. Unactivated software refuses to fully function until it determines whether it is authorized to. Until it's determined authorized to fully function. Activation allows the software to stop blocking its use, and activation can last forever or can have a time limit requiring a renewal or reactivation for continued use. Basically, long story short, product activation was used to prevent piracy, to determine a product is legitimate. It also enforces compliance with the end-user's license agreement. Microsoft has had a bit of controversy. There's been criticisms with product activation. One threat is if the company ceases to support a specific product or declares bankruptcy, its purchased product may become unusable, as in it may become a brick or incapable of being reinstalled unless an activation-free copy or final patch that moves or bypasses the activation limit is released. In some PC games that were released by developers in the early 90s, such as MS-DOS games, some nowadays are re-released that has the DRM patched out because the original developers like id Software, Sierra Online, like those old 90s developers, game developers back then, have since been long gone under. Another issue is product activation where there's no straightforward way to transfer the license to the person to activate on their computer has been widely criticized as making second-hand sales of products, particularly games, very difficult. Some suspect companies such as EA to be using product activation to reduce second-hand sales of their games in order to increase sales of new copies. As the transfer of activation request usually happens encrypted or at least obfuscated, the user cannot see or check if an additional data from his or her machine gets transferred, creating privacy problems. Malfunctioning of the activation mechanism can delay users from getting started and using newly licensed software. Malfunction of the verification mechanism can cause vital software to suddenly stop working until reactivated or patched. This can happen in response to detecting changes in installed hardware, other software, or the operating system. Back to the article about SecuCrack. I call it SecuCrack. Spore released by EA. By the way, Modern Vintage Gamer MVG did a video of Securom, the PC DRM that caused problems with Spore, and how EA got a ton of backlash from it, and how they caved under the backlash. Spore, released by EA in September 7, 2008, and fall 2008, uses Securom. Spore has seen relatively substantial rates of unauthorized distribution among peer-to-peer groups, and with a reported 1.7 million downloads over BitTorrent networks, it was the most user distributed game of 2008, according to Torrent Freak's Top 10 Most Pirated Games of 2008 list. Journalists note that this was a reaction from users unhappy with the copy protection. EA requires the player to authenticate the game upon installation. This system was announced after EA's originally planned system, which would have required authentication every 10 days, met opposition from the public. Each individual product kit of the game will be limited to use on 3 computers max. This limit was raised to 5 computers in response to customer complaints, but only one online user required to access user-generated content can be created per copy. A class action lawsuit was filed by Maryland resident Melissa Thomas within the U.S. District Court against Electronic Arts over Securom's inclusion with the Spore. Several other lawsuits have followed. So EA had their butts handed to them in court for using Securom literally. Command & Conquer Red Alert 3. Red Alert 3 included Securom until February 19, 2009. It was removed from the Steam version. Non-Steam editions still include Securom. Despite this, every serial key can only be activated up to 5 times, and activations could be revoked for individual systems through the game's auto-run feature as of patch 105. Dragon Age 2. Reports emerged that in March 2011 that EA's Dragon Age 2 included Securom, or Crappy-ROM, despite assertions from EA to the contrary. On March 12, 2011, a BioWare representative stated on the official Dragon Age 2 message boards that the game does not use Securom, but instead a release control product which is made by the same team, but it's a completely different product, which later turned out to be Sony Release Content, or SRC. The consumer advocacy group Reclaim Your Game has challenged this claim based on the analysis of the files in question. Final Fantasy VII PC release. Okay, I gotta remember what VI. It's from Final Fantasy. Okay, I gotta watch the Roman numerals. I can look at really quick to determine what Roman numeral number it is. But looking at a watch I have, it uses Roman numerals. I can easily determine by counting. Final Fantasy VII, yes. Final Fantasy. So VII is 7. So Final Fantasy VII, there was an issue with it. In early August 2012, an updated version of Final Fantasy VII was released for PC. The updated version included Securom software, which was discovered when an early purchase link was included in the Square Enix store. Users who purchased and downloaded the game were unable to activate the game due to the activation servers not recognizing an activation key for their purchased game. So Securom caused Final Fantasy VII to stop working. This is the 1997 version, and it's 3 discs long. The re-release version for PC used Securom, which was causing some lockout due to the activation servers failing to recognize the key. The Sims 2 Ultimate Collection. EA released the Sims 2 Ultimate Collection as a free download until July 31st, 2014, but did not mention that the download also came with Securom included, which was later revealed by the site Reclaim Your Game. Securom was later removed on November 1st, 2017, more than 3 years after it was last offered on Origin. EA revoked Securom from the Sims 2 Ultimate Collection. There was a game update that revoked it. It basically just deleted it entirely. Now we go to where the article where the source was cited, 32. I will explain a little bit about the whole Securom backfire. This is from web.archive.org. It is an archive web. It's loading. If we go to an article by Krenric's Gaming World, Krenric's Gaming World also talks about how EA updated The Sims 2 Ultimate Collection to remove Securom, to rip it out. Today, The Sims 2 Ultimate Collection got a small update that brings the game more in line with Origin. Downloading and testing reveals that this means that Securom has finally been removed from the Ultimate Collection, which gives it much better compatibility with Windows 10, as Securom and Windows 10 don't like each other very much. Windows 10 and Securom can't stand themselves, cannot stand one another. The update probably won't remove Securom from your computer if you already have it. To remove Securom from your computer, you can use the Securom removal tool. Sims 2 should continue to function as it should after doing so. The price for this change, you'll need Origin to run the Sims 2 Ultimate Collection. Any changes you made to the graphics must be reapplied. Now all we need is the Sims Ultimate Collection on Origin. The Sims Ultimate Collection, I wish EA could release that on Origin to bring that to people, since the Sims Ultimate Collection, since the Sims Classic Edition, known as the Sims Deluxe Edition or The Sims, won't run on Windows 10. The Sims 2 Ultimate Collection in Securom. As you may know, EA released a full collection of our beloved Sims 2 and decided to give it away for free to anyone who had Sims 2 registered in their Origin account. Then, because of the high demand, they decided to give it to anyone who had an Origin account. What they didn't tell anyone was that Securom was included in the mix. So EA did their usual and didn't inform us of them doing this. And here I was worried about having to have Origin on my PC, and I didn't even think to check for Securom. When Mara mentioned to me that some Simmers were asking me if there was Securom in the newer Sims 2 version, I decided to take a look under the hood. Then I found that EA had left Securom version 0.7.40.0009 in their nice free Sims 2 Ultimate Collection, which they will probably plan to sell in their stores soon enough. By the way, EA didn't sell the Sims 2 Ultimate Collection. I repeat, EA didn't sell the Sims 2 Ultimate Collection in their store later on. Underneath another web.archive.org. This is FlashBack Friday, but I'm talking about the first half of the stream of digital rights management technology known as Securom and other DRM that locks out games from people playing the games properly and or causing trouble. I will jump back to here. We've done screenshots of a few titles and registry keys in which people may want to know of in the event of troubleshooting purposes. As far as we know, EA has decided to provide everyone a free but unscrubbed copy of the Sims Ultimate Collection, which is different to the previous versions of Sims 2 that EA have sold in the past. Please let me know if people are having issues with Securom Sims 2. So far, my initial playthrough, everything was okay. The issues I came across was accessing some files and registry keys in which Securom had denied me admin access. Checking with Protection ID reveals the game.exe with a known Securom files, paul.dll. For more proof, look through this zipped file. So we're going to download a zipped file to look at of the Securom that was previously in Sims 2 Ultimate Collection, but EA later deleted it. They later ripped out the Securom DRM. So we're going to have an up-close look. We're going to sniff into that. Okay, there are some screenshots of Sims 2 using Securom before EA deleted it that I'm going to show right about now. We'll get to my Sims in a moment, but we're going to show the Securom backlash. My big complaint with EA is that they force Securom down your computer's throat on most games that use it. Other publishers have used Securom in their games digitally and physically for anti-piracy and copy protection. See, this is a screenshot of Origin Games, the Sims 2 Ultimate Collection, using Securom. It's digitally signed and it's using the Securom directly. So basically this is what it is. It's using a DVD serial key check and it detects Securom 7 version 7.4 directed inside of it. So now we go to the next image. This is proof of why I hate Securom and why it causes problems. See, the files down here use Securom. They're tied to Securom, and paul.dll is another file that is related to SecuROM. The DRM component is tied to it. And that's pretty much it with these screenshots about how SecuROM causes problems. Here's more information on the paul.dll. If you go to App and Data Roaming, this is where the SecuROM was sitting in SecuROM user data. The text and the files related to it were hidden there. Now, if you go to DRM DYN data, if you look closely, there's a DLL file that is tied to SecuROM. That file is tied to it. If we look at the screenshot of the registry, it says here no looking in here. So right there, SecuROM prevents you from looking into the specific highlighted folder down here. So you cannot look in the SecuROM area in your registry of your computer. You cannot look there. So let me show you the Paul DLL3 screenshot. That's that file related to SecuROM. It's a SecuROM product activation module. It's a modified product activation module detected. If we open paul.dll, this image screen thing, look what's behind. EA. EA is using a modified product activation DRM is what it's used. A modified DLL file known as dynamic link library files known as DLLs. For an in-depth explanation of what are DLLs, I will show you. Known as dynamic link library. To Wikipedia, the dynamic link library, aka DLL, is Microsoft's implementation of the shared library concept in the Microsoft Windows and OS/2 operating systems. Linux uses a similar shared dynamic link library. It uses a similar one, but it's different. Microsoft is .dll. Linux is usually SO, known as shared object library, like a shared library. So basically, DLL is dynamic link. OCX is containing ActiveX controls or DRV legacy system drivers. Basically, the dynamic link libraries are exe files that can't be directly launched. I repeat, you cannot directly launch a DLL file. They're indirect executables that you cannot launch directly. Only the program can load DLLs by executing a DLL, but the regular user can't really attempt to activate a DLL file by double-clicking on a DLL. You cannot launch that. I'll read a brief moment about all this and get to the game. A shared library, aka a shared object, is a file that is intended to be shared by executable files and further shared object files. Modules used by a program are located and loaded from individual shared objects into memory at load time or runtime, rather than being copied by a linker when it creates a single monolithic executable file for the program. Basically, your Windows programs will load DLL files. When you launch a program, all the DLLs are then loaded at runtime into the memory, or at load time or runtime. They'll be loaded directly in when you launch a program, when you automatically double-click on a program. That's basically what dynamic link libraries are, long story short. The dynamic link libraries, or DLLs, is part of the underlying operating system. That's how Windows works. Windows uses DLL files. Dynamic shared object is used in Unix-like systems. Unix-like systems do something different with that. Linux uses shared libraries as well. That's different than Windows does. So that's the definition of how the shared libraries and what all this has to do with SecuROM DRM. Basically, SecuROM DRM also uses DLL files. These are a lot of publishers that use it. EA used SecuROM to prevent copyright. Activision used it. Used different versions of SecuROM. The D is digital distribution version. D is disk check only. Release date checker has a ++ serial key. Online activation only has an O through a slash through it. The Y with the dots is revocation tool supplied. The Horror online activations is the AE, the italicized A regular E symbol. Okay, these are all the games that use Securom by company, backed by publishers. All the publishers tied Securom to each of their games. Guitar Hero 3 used it, the Germany one used it, Guitar Hero World Tour, Guitar Hero Aerosmith. These are all the PC games that are known to have the Securom DRM linked to it. Even Dora the Explorer Dance to the Rescue used Securom. Bethesda used it in Elder Scrolls Fallout 3 and Rogue Warrior. Blizzard used it. Buena Vista Games used it, made Desperate Housewives a video game. Capcom used Securom in most of their games for PC. CD Projekt Red used it in The Witcher 2 and The Assassins of Kings, but it was patched after 1.2 to remove it. A lot of the game developers you ever played their PC games in PC do have DRM, but the developers don't publicly list it. Dirt 3 used it. That's basically what that is. Call of McRae Drift used Securom. Damnation used Securom version 7.39. Crimson Cow, D3 publisher, Puzzle Quest. Disney Interactive Studios snuck Securom in all their PC games. Dreamcatcher Interactive, DTP Entertainment. Eidos Interactive, known for the Lara Croft games, also snuck Securom in their Tomb Raider games. Lego Star Wars had Securom. Lego Star Wars, the video game, had it snuck in. EA snuck in Securom in nearly a ton of its games. Mass Effect had it. Dragon Age, Dead Space, Dead Space 2, Crisis Warhead, Crisis. The Sims Carnival Snap City, The Sims Carnival Bumper Blast used Securom. Need for Speed did. My Sims used Securom. Mirror's Edge, Mercenaries 2, Medal of Honor. All the Sims 3, well, the Sims 2 used Securom. Spore did. The Sims 3 did. The Sims Medieval used Securom, but it was patched in 2.0. Spore used Securom. Empire Interactive, Encore Software, all these PC developers were doing some shady crap involving sneaking Securom in the PC games and not telling nobody about it. It didn't take long for all the developers who snuck Securom, especially EA, to get called out on this. Some developers got blasted for using Securom. Psychonauts used Securom. Blood Rain 2 used it for the PC. Microids, Dracula 3. Microsoft Game Studios snuck Securom in Fable 3. Midway is now Warner Brothers. Morpicon. All these developers did the dumb move of shoving Securom in the game and shoving it into people's computers that caused a ton of problems. Manhunt, the Grand Theft Auto had it. Sega Entertainment also implemented it. Sierra Entertainment implemented it. 2K Interactive, Telltale, THQ, Touchstone, Ubisoft, Vivendi, Warner Interactive. Basically, Securom, but a group called Reclaim Your Game, did some deep digging into the whole Securom lockout about which games that are laced with the Securom. They're basically just laced through the wazoo with it, and the developers didn't tell anybody. They just essentially pulled a fast one on the consumers of the PC games, which is why EA got their butts sued for that. We're literally doing that. For removing Securom, basically on webarchive.org, on the Reclaim Your Game Archive Edition, I'm going to explain more about that, and then we'll get to the game. This tells you how to remove Securom. There's also EADM removal instructions, but the Securom removal tool will automatically delete the Securom components that get left behind in your machine. Obviously, Securom is very strict. It prevents people from peeking in the Securom directory. I will show you by doing regedit, regedit, And EA told me, the EA customer support told me over the phone earlier today to use CCleaner to clean the registry, but Microsoft gets very furious and shakes their fists at registry cleaners because cleaning the system's registry of Windows can cause a ton of problems. Here's SecuROM. If we attempt to peek in licensing information, we can't peek there. We can peek in README, but we cannot peek in the other areas license information. We just can't peek in it. It's not letting me look. If we hit modify, if we attempt to visit the SecuROM license for further information, we won't be able to take a peek in that folder where the SecuROM component is. And the user data, there it is, but licensing information, it is locked. So we're going to attempt to go to that link it has there in the registry key. Notice it rates suspicious. It gives it a yellow, which is suspicious. Obviously, when we go there, it really doesn't do anything. It is related to the main company, Sony, because Sony makes PS4, PS3, and PS5, PSP, PS Vita, PSP Go. It's known to make video games, so it's a video game developer and a hardware manufacturer. So, having that said, we're going to try to access the Reg Edit as administrator. We're going to attempt to do that. We're going to attempt to elevate it. We still can't look there. After all, we elevated it. I elevated the registry editor to admin privileges, and we still cannot look inside there. It won't let us. We just can't look. Like, we can't take a peek there. It's like, you can't peek inside the SecuROM folder. It's like, no. And this is our response to SecuROM. Fuck you, SecuROM. You're a shitty DRM. Excuse that obscene gesture, but SecuROM is just a piece of shit DRM that has been heavily bashed for causing problems. Back to the game. So, new game. I hate DRM. I know it's meant for anti-piracy, anti-copy, but legitimate customers get hurt heavily. They get punished by DRM for the paying customers. The DRM should only affect pirating people that pirate PC games, or for people who are legitimate customers like me that buy digital games and download them. It's affecting me and the paid customers. DRM does affect the paid customer, but it should be affecting the pirates that pirate PC games, not the paid customers. It's backwards. DRM is so backwards. Excuse my French, but DRM is so fucked up. It is. Console DRM, like Xbox DRM and PS3 DRM, is a lot different. As for the Xbox 360, you can transfer your licenses to your digital games to another 360. And when you boot the game you downloaded on the Xbox Live Marketplace to your 360, it detects its use on the other console, so it will reboot and with the sign-in data from the previous console after you do a manual license transfer. I oppose DRM because it is known to cause a ton of problems. There is 2 tropical storms on the way. There's a tropical storm Laura and tropical depression 14 on their way to parts of Texas, Louisiana, and Florida Panhandle, and parts of Florida and Puerto Rico are going to get hit by the tropical storm Laura. One of them's hitting through Puerto Rico to Florida Panhandle, and one is hitting Texas and Louisiana in America, where I'm at. So let's just get on with my Sims. Hello. You can say something, it's me, Rage, if you want. I'm actually having to rant about EA and their anti-piracy and their DRM protection measures that really hurt paying customers like me and many other people who buy EA games and spend money to the company to buy their games that they develop in-house, and or any other developer that sells their games through EA's digital storefront Origin or any digital distribution platform store. that I don't really like DRM. It's me, Rage. You can say what you have to say. That's my rant about the whole DRM backfire. My Sims is the Sims spinoff as a juvenile child-friendly version of the game. The Sims is a teenage version that is rated T for teen. Remember, if you have nothing nice to say in my chat, don't say it. Think before you speak. Think before you speak. Otherwise, you get hidden from my chat, timeout, or you get your comment removed by me or my moderators. We reserve the rights to do so. My Sims is a game that I like due to because one, your Sims in the regular Sims games, you have to keep them fed, otherwise they die from starvation. Two, the needs in the Sims in the regular Sims games aren't as strict, or strict in the sense of the term that in the Sims 2 and all the other Sim games, you got to keep your Sims well fed and taken care of, because if you fail to do it, then you're going to face consequences. But in my Sims, this isn't the case. Your Sim doesn't have a whole lot of needs. There is a introductory video done by Tim Letourneau, who was involved in developing The Sims 2, in a 2007 video released by EA upon the release of My Sims on the Nintendo Wii. This game was released on Wii, then it came on PC. Taco Bell even gave away My Sims to kids to promote the game through Taco Bell at one point as a giveaway, as like a Taco Kids meal type deal. The My Sims disc would come in a disc envelope slot through Taco Bell as a promotional giveaway. The online features for My Sims have been long shut off completely. Therefore, trying to play My Sims in 2020 online won't work because the online servers are disconnected. It's me, Rage. You really didn't have to delete what you were saying. All I'm saying is be careful what you were saying, because I have the think before you speak policy, meaning you gotta be careful what you say to someone. If you say something wrong, rude, or mean, you're asking for trouble. That's why I don't want people to come and ask for trouble by saying something that I don't like or I don't want to hear, or or say that to anybody on their stream, which will result in the streamer having their moderators either time you out or hide you from their channel. Like on Twitch, if you do something that frowns upon the streamer's rules on Twitch, you can get banned from chat if you're caught in violation of the streamer's rules. Of course, I will never be the one who plays Fortnite much anymore, as I loved Fortnite, but I'm not really going to do it because there's younger audiences who play it, and most people online nowadays that play it are a little hesitant playing with teenagers or kids that love Fortnite or PUBG because of problems with adults and children being interacting online with one another. Especially in my area of Georgia, there has been an online child predator bust, undercover bust too, involving child predators, since everyone is staying home due to COVID, and kids are online doing online school during the pandemic, which causes problems. Okay, you can be nice, but I'm just saying that's a rule, that you don't have to delete your messages. You don't have to do that, You can be nice. If my voice gets a little distorted, I'm trying to reposition my webcam to where I can be seen and heard, but not have my voice so distorted out. Let me turn on my audio. Turning my audio down will help just a smidge. I'm focusing on The Sims, but I'm focusing on My Sims because it's just a simplified, easier game than playing The Sims 2 or The Sims 3. It is a much easier game to focus in. With My Sims, there's not a lot of clicking on have your sim do this or do that. Not really in My Sims. But in the regular Sims games, there's a lot of do this, do that, do this, do that. And it's obviously something that I didn't really want to do. But I will play The Sims 2 later in the stream. Why is it you're deleting your messages? It's me, Rage. Why are you doing that? I don't understand why you're retracting your statements. Like, why are you taking it back? Like, I don't get it. You shouldn't be deleting your messages like that. I'm in a good mood. It's just that there's no need to take back what you're saying. No need to retract your message in chat. There's no need to do that. No need to be deleting your own messages. The only time that would occur is if someone is being rude, disrespectful, or acting like a jerk. Just remember that I have autism as a mild disability, so my social skills are not great, and my understanding of context, things being put into context correctly, does not render correctly for me, meaning the context behind what someone is saying, I cannot properly understand the context of it very well. I admit that. This is the PC version of My Sims. The Wii version allowed you to use the Wii remote to point at things on screen, and to shake trees, you left-click on the tree and shake with your mouse cursor to bring down the essences. The essences are fruits like apples, flowers, and trees. The trees and fruits are also essences that can be used to decorate objects for Sims. In My Sims, to here you've got your star rating from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars. You unlock new things as your star count goes up. I love My Sims as a less stressful game. The Sims 2 and The Sims 3 and The Sims 4 and all the regular Sims games are a bit stressful to me. They're sort of a bit stressful because I have to keep up with my Sims' moods 24/7, make sure they don't all drop to rock bottom, otherwise it's problems for my Sim. While My Sims focuses less on needs, it focuses more on building objects and buildings for Sims and moving Sims in to make the town great again. That's what My Sims is literally. It's just a child-friendly version of the game, as The Sims 2, The Sims 3, and The Sims 4 are teen-rated. I will demo The Sims, or demo My Sims, and I cannot save the game until I fulfill certain requirements. The only thing I really didn't like about is calling EA to have EA to reset my licensing limit on My Sims, to reset the copy limit, the amount of copies that can be activated. I can basically ask them to reset that in order to be able to play again. I'll show you what I meant. Now, if we look at pictures, I will change my overlay to the desktop overlay. Okay, it is on the desktop window overlay. If we open up Capture, it says here the game cannot start. For security reasons, only a limited number of machines can ever be licensed by a single purchase. This limit has been reached. Please contact customer support for another registration code. That's basically what that is. That is basically what the DRM is locking out. This is the SecuROM component on my computer. If we look, there's the SecuROM part. Paul DLL was another SecuROM component. It's another one. These are the different locations of where SecuROM is hidden. These are the registry keys that point to the registry. SecuROM resides in an app data folder on Windows, which is hidden. The temp DRM DYN data *.dll is there. If we run run that removal tool again directly, you'll see us. Let me change the window capture back. Let me turn off display capture and go back to the window capture. That's what it looks like. I wanted to show the DRM issue about how DRM can be a bit sneaky and pesky and cause headaches for legitimate paying customers, when technically the DRM should be used to stop those who pirate games illegally. It should be used for pirators steal games without paying. That's how it should work for DRM, to stop pirators but not hurt the legitimate paying customers who buy games. That's how DRM should run. If I was a game developer, if I developed a game, I would use DRM to lock out the pirators. But for the customers who buy my game, they won't face any DRM problems. Only the pirators that pirate my game illegally would get DRM running rampant at them. Tell them to buy the full game, and you won't get any kind of copy protection. That's only for those who pirate games off torrent sites. But for the legitimate paying customers, they would never get any kind of DRM message. If I was a game developer, my games would use a DRM public service announcement video that it wouldn't scare people per se. It would just generally dissuade people into not torrenting a game illegally. If we try to connect to the online feature, through login to MySims. Windows Firewall will say MySims is trying to connect to the internet. If we attempt to trip that by clicking on login, it'll probably say the servers are unavailable at this time. Please try again later. That just means that EA has shut down the MySims online privileges, have permanently revoked them. See, the MySims servers are revoked or shut down, so you won't be able to connect to the MySims servers as of 2020. But this was only available when the game was released in early 2007-2008. EA essentially terminated the online services for it. The amount of essences is 9, so I need one more. This game really focuses on essence and building objects and items. That's really what it focuses on. It'll be boring to some people. MySims will appear boring to most people, but it's not boring to me because you're not really making your sim go to work, get a job, woohoo, eat, clean up, have fun with children, like talk to children and treat children like family and raise them up to be successful in the game. The reason why you will never see me stream Fortnite on YouTube is just because of what copyright licensed music in Fortnite and the fact that there are younger audiences such as kids that are like 13 or 14 years old playing Fortnite, and I have an issue with kids playing Fortnite online. I have an issue with this because the parents should be the one to limit their children on the internet. I'm saying this because parents should do a good job of watching what their kids do online, keeping their children off the internet because predators often lurk around looking for young children. Personally, me in 2005, from 2002 all the way to 2006, I had internet access, but I never really had any predators looking for me back then because obviously I did not know what that was back then, and I was scared and shy of people in person and online. So obviously, I've never had any abductions happen to me through online communication because back then what I did online was supervised, meaning I was only allowed to go on kid-friendly websites or online games websites with Adobe Flash games. No one ever raised a complaint about me doing it. Me visiting adult content as a kid in early 2005, 2004, 2006. I would have gotten into a ton of trouble for doing that with my parents. But all I'm really saying is during the pandemic is please make sure you watch what your children do online during the pandemic and always online. Because in Georgia there was like a recent undercover online predator bust that occurred, catching a lot of online would-be predators going after young children online due to the pandemic, causing every single child to be online at home doing virtual learning during a pandemic, and that also lures out would-be child predators online. I am concerned about children using the internet unsupervised nowadays, and parents should do a better job of supervising their kids on the net. They should do supervision as parental controls and watch what sites kids are going to and block sites that kids are not supposed to go to and allow sites for kids to go to. Even police departments have warned parents about watching what children do on their phones with apps such as a secret calculator app that stores sensitive private information. Therefore, teenagers may use a calculator app or apps to hide sensitive stuff on their phones to disguise as a note app or calculator app. It's meant to disguise what the teen is doing on the phone or child. It's meant for disguising. And parents have to be more vigilant and watch out for that because it's easy to hide sensitive data of a child or anything about a child on the net hide and store it, or store it in an app and then submit it to a potential stranger that could possibly cause harm. So I gotta follow Mayor Rosalind, and she's got that bubble with that door icon with the arrow, the exit icon above her head. Let me up the desktop audio a little bit more. I am a little frustrated with you, It's Me Rage. You had to delete your messages from chat. What are you, scared? I'm not trying to poke fun at you, It's Me Rage. Just don't do that. Because then I won't be able to know what you said. Or I won't be able to see what you said because you deleted your messages. Please don't do that. I'm just ranting about my experience with EA's Origin and DRM and everything that's going on. And all the problems it can bring. And I also told the EA customer support representative over the phone that they really need to change their DRM rules because people can backlash, like slam EA with criticism through the roof to the point that EA caves and crumbles underneath the pressure to fix their DRM problems. Like they would be under a lot of demand, high demand pressure to fix those issues. This game is really relaxing, but the Sim series is fun. I play it every now and then, but I get stressed by the Sim series as you have to do a lot of maintenance to your Sim family, and if you don't maintain your Sim family well, then you're in trouble. And in My Sims, you build objects like houses and chairs and objects. You build those objects, but in The Sims, you build houses and put down objects. There's a difference between the two games of My Sims and The Sims. There's huge differences. The Wii version of My Sims had awful long loading times. Had very hideous loading times. The PC version of My Sims has shorter loading times than intended. It remains unclear why My Sims has awful long loading on the Wii version, but the PC version has a shorter load time. And yes, to comply with COPPA, there's going to be a bit of where I play teen-rated games or games that are not meant for younger audiences to comply with COPPA laws in the U.S. That is, the COPPA thing also applies to children in other countries with similar laws, but mainly my streams are rated T to M, rated from T to M. They're not rated E for everyone. To put it as an ESRB perspective. In Europe, the rating system PEGI is used. Japan it is CERO, and in Korea it is something else, the rating system for games and media. I know that in Europe, PEGI 12, like PEGI is the European equivalent of the ESRB in America. The ESRB in America uses letters rated E to M. There was one rare rating called AO, known as Adults Only. The Adults Only rating by ESRB was rarely used. The only time it was used was with Leisure Suit Larry. Leisure Suit Larry was an adult-oriented game that was not meant for children. Therefore, Leisure Suit Larry got the adults-only rating due to the sexual nature and adult content in Leisure Suit Larry. I've heard of LSL, but I don't own LSL, which is Leisure Suit Larry for short. I don't own it. I would play Leisure Suit Larry off stream, not on stream, due to the nature of the game's content. To comply with rules on YouTube's terms of service and community guidelines, to basically be in compliance. I'd rather have my YouTube channel stay up, but follow the YouTube guidelines and community terms of service. One YouTuber by the name of Glass Shadow X caught a bit of flack for violating YouTube's guidelines for hate speech and fake interaction. Caught a ton of flack to the point where his YouTube channel was deleted and terminated. As in, he lost his channel due to violating terms of service. It really wasn't copyright, and the fact that one other YouTuber, shall not name names that I'm friends with, a male YouTuber, isn't too very pleased with me, and I'm very upset and hurt that I'm picked to choose sides between people who to support and who not to support. Basically, I'm caught in between sides, and I'm not taking anybody's side but my own. Therefore, the rule of thumb is don't ask me to take sides of people, because it's a big no-no. Because doing so, I have to reserve the right to terminate talking to people that ask me to choose sides. All I'm saying is, William Armstrong, will never pick sides of people. I will never choose people's sides to be on. Period. I am pissed over choosing sides between people to support on YouTube. I support Phoenix Rising. I support her. I don't support Cosmo, Glass Shadow X. I don't support Rezi. I don't do that. I don't pick sides to support. I choose whoever I want to support. I can't be forced to support somebody else over the other person. I don't play that shit. I don't play it. So stop it with me. I was mad and frustrated for over 25 days. I kept my big mouth shut because I know I'm going to get into trouble. But I'm having to speak up and say enough is a fucking enough.